Okay, so boy, that was an adventure in door dashing. Started off really good. Got maybe $20 in the first hour. In the second hour, I got about $20 worth of stuff that I could have gotten done. So it was about 20 minutes in, I got stuff. And then, well, okay, here's the deal. I do DoorDash and Uber at the same time. And, well, the key there is, if you're going to do that, one, make sure your orders go in the same direction. At the very least, they're very short, like only a couple of miles, so that any time you spend going one direction on the one doesn't affect the other one too significantly. Two, and this one's really, 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 really important. Deliver the right food to the right place. Normally, I'm really good. I haven't made this mistake before. I don't think. Maybe I did do it once before, but it was less of a deal. Okay, so I took two because they were right next to each other. I mean, literally. I mean, they were 20 feet apart, the two shops, but they were about the same distance, 5 to 6 miles. And normally Uber doesn't give me very good long distance orders, so I don't normally take them. But this one was pretty good, so I go, all right, they're right here. I hope they go in the right direction though, because I didn't actually check the direction they went. Picked up the food, and whew, they left the area going the same direction. But it was 5 to 6 miles is a big deal, and if you're going 3 or 4 miles in the wrong direction, you're still going pretty far off in the wrong direction. And so one turns this way, and one goes straight. And lucky for me, the one that went this way turned and went down kind of parallel, and then it turned off kind of over here. So I went down to the one, and I said, oh, I'm not getting too far behind on time on the other one, which is good. So they must be running parallel to some extent. So I dropped off food. And note how I say dropped off food, not dropped off the right food, or dropped off their order. I just dropped off food, turned around, went back. Okay, the phone rings, and it's my phone rings within a half mile. I mean, I really wasn't that far away. But it was from Chicago, and I'm like, who the heck is calling me from Chicago? I ain't got time to take a no Chicago phone call. So I ignored it. And then they called again within another quarter mile, and I ignored it. So I said, I got to go deliver this order. So I get all the way down there, and I get really close, and I go, all right, let's check this order quick, or check this message, because there's a message left. You dropped off the wrong order. I have it here waiting if you want to swap them out. Call me back. Oh, no. I looked in the bag, and I'm like, oh, suck. Called him back. I go, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And he said, all right, no problem. I'll just swap it out with you when you get here. And I'm like, okay. So I drive back as quick as I can. Just probably doing some speeding. I get there, swap it out. But now by this point, the second order is already 20 minutes behind. And I said, I'm going to drive it back there. I'm going to go back. I start driving back, and the directions are gone. They're no longer in my thing. I never dropped it, so I just figured they'd stay there. But not if they cancel the order, they don't. So I get all the way back down there, and I'm like, all right, I got to call DoorDash. DoorDash, my order disappeared. I can't deliver this. And they go, yeah, they canceled the order. We'll pay you half for them canceling the order tomorrow. I said, no, don't even bother paying me. I screwed this one up. They go, no, we just pay half. And I'm like, okay. So I drive all the way back to my side of town with an order of food that I don't really care for. It's like poke something. I think it's sushi or something. It really isn't my thing at all. And I'm like, what am I going to do with this? And my wife goes, well, maybe your daughter will eat it, because she doesn't like sushi either. And I'm like, maybe, but I don't know. I don't think she likes sushi either. I don't think anybody does. And except for my eldest son, him and his wife like sushi, but they don't even live near us. So I'm like, wow. Well, it should have been about an hour's worth of work turned into an hour and a half, and I didn't even get them both delivered. So just ended up. I just hosed that one up completely. I was like, this is dumb. I pay attention to your orders. That's all I'm saying. Don't be like me. Don't be like Ken. Read your orders when you're dropping them off. That's extremely important information. Anyway, so that said, things got grunky. And yeah. All right, so I gotta pause this and try to see why my clock is all screwed up. So let's see here. You can see I have a clock going here that is obviously not giving the right time. Uh, 407.29, whatever that's supposed to be. So okay, so the init quarter time. See, yeah, my time in quarter is all screwed up. So time in quarter should never ever be I wonder if I should just use display time, because I'm basically taking the floor over to here. And then both of them will use like yeah, let's do that. No, I don't know if that's even going to take the value. Yeah, I don't think so. All right. I don't think it'll even compile, so let's stop it. Oh, an unknown thread. Unknown thread. The mystery thread. Again, by the way, if you haven't heard, if you don't know, I'm moving my programming progress on this application to another channel on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, don't worry about it. It's going to stay the same. I'm not changing my Twitch channel. But if you're on YouTube watching, or you ever want to see these things in post, I don't know. Go to Active Mind Games Dev. It's on my description underneath my viewing. But yeah, Active Mind Games Dev on YouTube. So that's where it'll be starting tomorrow. It was supposed to start today, but I am giving you extra heads up. If you are interested, please follow that channel. Since I started my Indiegogo campaign to try to get some resources maybe in helping me to focus on this app and spend more time on it, do a little less door dashing and a little less looking for other work, worrying about that stuff and being concerned about that. I did start a Indiegogo to try to get some support for it. Hopefully I can get this app done for people who do back me. And if I can work full time, I will for sure. There is no doubt I will get this done. If I am so blessed as to have the opportunity to work full time on this for the next 12 to 24 months. In fact, a lot sooner than that, there will be availability to those who back me. But if I can work that long, I will have something to release by then. It might be alpha, might be beta, it might even be a release version with less features. I don't know it'll have all the features. I have a long list of features that I want to add to this app. So it could take some time, but hopefully I can make that fix. So. Okie dokie. We have what do we have here? Oh, we have a break. Okay, so already a stop point. Okay, so I got to fix this. I think I'm doing something wrong. I need the clock to start. I need the clock to start ticking immediately. So even on a kickoff, the clock should start, but it should also probably stop right away. I don't know that I'm toggling enough. I think the problem is So we do have time and quarter minus this. So display time should change. So it seems like we ran a couple of plays before we even got in here. So, because it was a special teams play, and I said false. I said clock stop true, and that stops the clock from happening, and we didn't get a chance to trigger. So I need to get the clock started, but then I need to pause it, and I can't really just start it here because that would be kind of goofy. Jeez. Oh, you know what I could do? I think when we stop the clock, I do have playtime, I think. Yeah, I have playtime here. I could probably have it just tick down that much time. Set the clock on here to that much playtime, and then pause the clock. Actually run the clock for the whole time and stop. Huh. Then I'm not doing, I'm giving back a playtime that the play says that ran, but I think instead of just taking that time off and setting it in, I should just run that much playtime off the clock. So what would I do? How would I do that? Run the clock. Now that's not easy necessarily because it's not designed to have a fixed runoff. All right, let's try this. I'm gonna go ask my buddy, Mr. ChatGPT, another question: how I can do this? What's the best way to do this? I could try to overthink it and figure it out probably, but I'm just thinking it might be just faster to ask my buddy here. Okay. I'm thinking I would just pass a time parameter through to the pause clock. I want to pass a pause clock seconds parameter so that it will run off that much time before pausing. Let's see what it says. To add a pause clock seconds parameter that pauses the clock after running for the specified duration, you can modify the component as follows. Yeah. See, I figure it would just tell me the easiest way to do it. Sometimes if you've got a digital brain to solve it for you, you might as well use it. You ask specific questions on small things, a lot of times it's just easier because it's going to give you, yeah, I can figure it out. And I knew I was going to be passing a pause to the effect, but how are we doing this here? Pause clock seconds. All right, let's see what it does here. That's not really what I had in mind. I was kind of thinking instead of passing true or false, I can just say set pause and then just pass time rather than trying to pass another. Well, okay, so the forward ref is calling. So really, it's according to this, I'm just calling pause clock, but pause clock seconds. But I don't. Okay, so pause clock is the doesn't have any values. It just says it set it true and false. I see here. I'm thinking. I'm right now. I'm thinking this is not the most efficient way. Now that I think about it, why can't I just say pause clock true or false? Why do I need a pause clock, resume clock? I mean, yeah, it's functionally better, but I mean, really, it's true and false. But if I'm going to pause clock, can't I just pass a time parameter to the pause? How am I? Okay, let's go to my game clock here. What am I doing? I want to see what's going on here. So on this, it does have a pause in the use effect, but couldn't I just change the pause imperative? Oh, it's imperative. The pause imperative method to be set pause seconds runoff. Then it would just run for that much more time before pausing. If I set it to 0, perhaps even have that be the default, it pauses immediately. I mean, really, I don't like adding a bunch of new parameters and new ways to call it. I mean, if I can just use what I have and just optimize it, that seems more efficient to me. Yes. Why, thank you, sir. Kind sir, you says that's, oh yeah, that's a great idea. How come I didn't think of that? I am the AI. I should have known better. Yes, that's a great idea. You can modify the pause clock method to accept a parameter seconds run off. Which specifies how much longer the clock should run before pausing. If seconds run off as 0 or not provided, it pauses immediately. Here's how you can do that. Okay, so yeah, that's better. See, it looks like, see, I don't have a bunch of extra stuff. I don't have, instead of having all the extra code in here and this extra parameter up here for pause and not pause, now I'm just doing this, and look, it doesn't do anything different up here. The whole function stays the same, except for now I have this pause clock, which is, you know, so much better. And yeah, I mean, am I being lazy and not and having the AI show me, you know, the best way to do this? Maybe. But you know what? The job here is to get the job done. You know, I know enough about coding to know that this is a better way to do it, even though it tried to give me something else. Again, this is where I tell you, AI doesn't always know best. It's going to give you a solution, but sometimes that solution can be a little long-winded or verbose. I've also seen times when it tries to refactor your code to make it more efficient. Claude does that a lot. Sometimes Claude does a good job about it. Sometimes it's just as bad as ChatGPT. So I don't, it's all about, the AI is very fast, but it's not playing chess. It's not looking for all the possible moves and all the best moves. What it's doing is it's looking for the solution, and when it finds one, it gives it to you. It's kind of like playing chess one move deep. What's the best move here? Okay, this move works best. But it really isn't, because you look deeper and you're like, oh yeah, that's got that problem or that problem or that problem. When AI is smart enough to play chess, I'm talking about general AI like ChatGPT, Claude, those guys. When those things become smart enough to be able to do this stuff in a more thought out process, maybe it takes a second to get back to you, or half a second, or whatever it is. Right now, it starts writing back immediately. Oh, here's a solution. And then you're like, what about this? Oh yeah, good idea. It gives you that one. It's like, it doesn't always, so an experienced coder, I say it as such as myself, who doesn't necessarily understand everything about React, but does understand how to be more efficient with code, because that's what I do, I can look at this and go, okay, you're making a lot of changes for something that shouldn't be that complicated. And then you mention it and it goes, oh yeah. But eventually AI might be smart enough to write code in a way that goes, okay, so there's 3 ways to do this. This way is the most clean, most efficient. It uses the best approach. I don't think it's doing that right now. We're not at that stage of existence yet. AI is getting better, and it probably won't be long before it starts doing stuff like that. But I think right now, we're not there. Yeah, okay, that works. So basically all we're doing is saying we're setting the timeout to a new value that is then triggering on this function, seconds from off. Okay. So that should allow me to have a pause, in which case, when this comes in, we want to pause the clock after this much time. Runs off. Because I think sometimes I have plays like field goals take 3 seconds. But like extra points and 2-point conversions, they don't burn any time. So they would be 0 and they would pause immediately, because we don't really want the clock to tick for those plays. Now, theoretically, it could be 2 plays in a row, like, I don't know, a field goal or an extra point following a touchdown. It might be 0-0, right? Because the extra point, the touchdown could have been when clock time ran out or something. So it's 0-0. So there's no time, no runoff. But we don't want to be running off time when there's actually a time burn. Never really occurred to me, but nacho Doritos are really salty. I haven't had them in a while. But I was eating a Costco hot dog and I was like, nacho Doritos sounds like they would go good with this. And they did. But when all you have left are the nacho Doritos, you're like, they need something to level out that salt. All right, so let's see. I can't do a save all anymore because that Control-Shift-S is being taken up by one of my extensions, and it makes me do something else. All right, so I don't know, maybe it's Go or one of my Go things. I don't know. All right, so that should run off sometime. So we set the clock on the play clock, but play clock only cares. The idea is that the play clock keeps getting set. All right, let's just see what I got. I gotta see what happened. What did I do? What did I accomplish, if anything at all? What is that? Oh, that's not even my right window. What the heck? How'd I end up? Oh, that's not my thing. The app's not even running. All right. All right, so we got my game situation here. Simulation. I wish I was doing situations already. Bam! Clock start. In a minute. There it goes. Oh, it didn't burn off time. 30. All right, we're not burning clock time. So our clock isn't starting. Probably because the first time I call this clock, it's inside this. It doesn't start ticking until I'm here, which is problematic. I do need it to start once at least in the immediate, because I don't need to pause it with no time at all. Interestingly enough, though, it should hit the playtime. Oh, but we don't have a run. Oh, because we haven't started it yet. Set timeout. Previous. Okay, so it is using the previous minus 1. Where is set timeout? Set time left. Set timeout. Oh, set timeout is just a built-in function. Oh, so basically we're just going to wait for it to run off some time before we call the set paused. So it's going to continue running uninterrupted until the timeout burns. Okay. That works. But we do need to start the clock. We do need it to start. So how do I do that? How do I do that? Okay, so I think I just want to call, is it post playtime? Is that what this is called? Post playtime? I guess post playtime. So yeah, I think I need to call this oh, wait a minute. Yeah, I forgot. My game clock doesn't use, my game clock is using the quarter time. Oh, that's a problem. And my play clock is using the seconds, and my game clock is using regular time. Probably shouldn't do that because it's not consistent and it's causing me consternation. And it's a lot of it had to do with timing of where I'm trying to set this clock up at. the clock does need to start ticking right away, and I could probably do it without the seconds. See, here I'm breaking it down into seconds as the first step. And I was basically just getting it, because it still uses the seconds, it's just that I'm breaking up the time because I was passing in the quarter time. But now, since I'm not doing it there, I could probably get rid of this and call it like so. And then on here, when we do set the display time, I don't want to set it at a, so I almost need to set this before. Well, it's, man, timing of when you set everything is tricky. Yeah. Timing of when I set stuff. Okay, so what I need to do, huh. Oh, 12:19. Hold on, I'm trying to fix my my description here. All my YouTube. All my. Okay, so I just needed to update my description, and because I had it kind of wonky here, so. Now I am going to remove the I'm looking for work. I am still looking for work, but I think for the purposes of my game stream, that probably won't be needed. And since I'm changing this all off tomorrow. Now keep in mind, still the same stuff going to be happening here and there. I'm not getting rid of anything. I'm just splitting up the two categories of stuff. So it's not so, it's not such a menagerie of mixing stuff. So, all right, so let's try and get this. All right, so what I want to do is I need to start the clock, which means I need to post the playtime at least So time and quarter, we're going to subtract that. It's like, do I need to have, yeah. Because when we reset it, it's going to pretty much reset every time. The only time I really need to get this going is, I wonder, can I just call this at the beginning when the game starts? I mean, can I call a method that's not inside of anything? I don't know that I've ever tried to do that. Because like all of these are inside of other functions. Like there's like none of these things trigger anything. They're all just constants. Now this may be, I don't know if this is okay. I'm going to try it, but I'm curious. I don't know if this actually works. It might say no, because I probably need to do a method or a function or something. So it's game state.init play clock time. Game state.init. Oh, wait. Well, that might work. Let's try that. It might not like it. Again, I don't know. Again, this is some of my lack of knowledge of what I can do in what I can do in React. So I'm just but you got to keep trying, learning new stuff, right? So where is quarter at that it says I'm missing a? It says React hook use effect has a missing dependency quarter. Is that this one? No, that has quarter. Alright, so that's just part of my log game loop. Is that the only place it's used? Well, it is used here, but I don't know if that's a problem or not. I'm wondering, for the purposes of logging, do I really need? I wonder if I could just say, I wonder if this will work. Quarter ref dot current. Just to see if that gets rid of the dependency error. You know, I don't, or warning. It's not even an error. It's just a warning. Shouldn't do this. And since it's just a log, it's not like it's all that important. Huh, it did. Got rid of it. All right, well, now we get to see, oops, but what I did not do is let this build correctly. Got things blubbering up because I'm not building things correctly. Let's try that. Try that again. Oops. I'm gonna crash. I'm gonna crash things if I keep shutting them down out of order. Like right now, it's like, I'm trying to decide if I want to trash everything. Okay. Let's try that again. We'll just go about. Now I got to get over to my. I got to get over to my my Go stuff. So I don't want to work on UI too much more. I just wanted to kind of get this clock going before I move on. Or at least make it not be so broken. It's a little display broken at the moment. Especially when I think the fix is easy. If I have some kind of bug that looks like it's going to be like complicated, then I have to prioritize and go, all right, time to get on the focus on the right things and worry about that stuff later. Now this is a UI element that's going to stick around. It's like it's not necessarily something, it's throwaway. Most of the behind the scenes simulation code is not throwaway, but the React version of it is. So I'll have to take a lot of that logic and I'll just basically move it to another to Go, which is going to be slight rewrite, but it's the logic's already there, right? But then I got to break down to the details of that place. So a lot of the simulation logic itself is kind of throwaway because that was just a prototype. These UI elements are a little bit less so. So they will be, oops, oh yeah, what's it? Cannot read properties of undefined, read post playtime. What did I do? That's not the name of the method. Is that the name of the method even? Game clock. It is game clock ref. Did I not? Oh, maybe did I not declare it yet at that point? Oh, game clock. Hey, where was I? Game clock. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. Game. Don't need that yet. Don't need that. Where did game result? Oh, there it is. I'm staring at it. I am in the right page. Oh, that's just way more up here than I thought. Okay, so we got game clock ref. Game clock ref dot current. Oh, but game clock ref is not set because game clock ref needs to point at something. Oops. So basically, right after game clock ref gets set, which is going to be somewhere, that's when I run this. Where's it getting set? Oh, it's getting set inside of there. In fact, no, it's not. Where the heck is it getting set? Game clock. Okay, so how does that work? Play clock ref? So it's initializing inside of the call to play clock. Oh, so we have to, I have to let it display. So that has to be, I can probably do it the second my use effect fires. So when the use effect triggers, right? Or maybe not. Oh yeah, because the use effect's going to fire before the return, but we eventually got to get inside the game. We have to eventually get to a point where we can trigger this. Eventually we'll get there. So it's not until after the play executes, which is going to be the kickoff. It's going to start off at 0. And then we have to execute the play clock, which should be like right about here. Or time and quarter, which is initialized up there. Only problem is I mean, I guess it could be set twice. It'll just get set once, and then it'll get set for the difference at the next stage. So we got to keep the clock running, right? All right, let's try it. So that means pretty much the first thing we're going to do is run the clock. The clock starts right as we're about to kick it off. Maybe we even do it right after the coach makes his decision. That's what we'll do. And it will be set to whatever time it says is in the quarter. Which in this case will be 15 minutes to start. But at every interval, it will run down to the next time. See, here's a little tricky thing. Time and quarter. See, I was using fixed times. Now I'm trying to actually run the time. So it's almost like huh. I'm thinking this through. I want to get this right. So when the ball is kicked, we start the clock. But we don't start the play clock, because the play clock isn't going to do anything, because it's going to stop the second we get to the next play. Like, let's just say we're starting the game, right? The game is getting going. The clock starts the second the ball is kicked. All right, let's just go through the motions here. I'm not going to put this here. All right, so the first thing that happens is the ball is kicked. At that point, we set the initial time. However, we're going to immediately turn around and run down the clock. We have the playback. We're running down the time. And then we do, like, if clock is stopped at the end of the play, we'll pause. We'll run down that amount of play time. So we're going to go, I'm going to probably end up rewriting all this. Okay, so we're going to run down. We're going to go if game clock ref.current. Nope, I'm looking at the wrong thing. If play info dot clock stopped, then we're going to go ahead and say game clock ref dot current dot pause clock we're going to go play info dot play time. Right. Okay, so that's what we want. So if it's stopped, then we're going to run whatever time it says the play took, and that's it. That's all we're going to run off. If, however, we run a play what happens if, what does my imperative here say when it's false? Set paused false. Nothing will happen. So it's okay to call that and set it to what already exists. Okay, so if or else, oops, what did I do here? Forgot to put my my squiggly brackets on. else we'll say game clock ref.current.resume clock. I could do something a little bit. If I'm going to have it be close like this, maybe I should just do something like can I do an inline if that doesn't return a value? I don't know that I've ever written an inline if that doesn't return a value. Usually it returns something. I don't know. Can you do an inline if that all it does is run a method? Okay, so we're going to set the clock starting. Then we're going to get our time back for the quarter, but I don't know if we need that. That's what I'm wondering. I'm starting to wonder if I even need this anymore, but let's just see. We're going to run the game clock. If the clock is at the end of the play, so let's first check this. Start game clock and run off playtime. Start, all right, how about this? Start game clock, run off play execution time. See, okay, that works. Never mind. All right, so I had to think this through. So basically the question here is, I have a play execution time that's going to vary from a few seconds to plus a few seconds plus 30 seconds or 35 seconds, whatever I have it set at. But if the clock stops, it won't put the 35 seconds on, and I'll just like, okay, wait a minute. Will I accidentally be running off too much time? But the fact is, if it's the clock doesn't stop, that's the only time we're going to get the extra 35 seconds, in which case all I'm doing is resuming the clock. And so it might skip down a little bit if that full time doesn't run off before the next play executes, but that's okay. It's going to be minor. You're not going to really see that. It's just going to adjust the clock each time we come back in. If it's a pause, it's going to run off the time, but that just means the clock stopped, and you're only going to have a second or two that runs off before the clock stops. So again, it isn't going to be something noticeable because it's just going to run through and then hit that point and stop. So that should stop our game clock and run the game clock according to how much time we actually have or whatever we're using. Now the play clock has to start pretty much after every play it's going to trigger. We're going to start the play clock. Now the play clock is going to do its own thing, right? So so we're going to subtract the time from the time and quarter, and then we have our display time. Really all this is doing is it's going to be a 40-second clock, but we're just checking here to make sure that we're not under 40 seconds left on the clock, because then we're going to actually just take our time and we're going to subtract it from here. Now what I do need to do though is I'm going to have to do this though. Math dot floor, just in case my time just in case my time has a decimal on it, which can happen if, because a lot of our plays have small amounts of seconds, so we may have a decimal, but we're not going to use any of those. We're going to cut that off. So then, when we subtract our time, our play time from the time in quarter, we'll start the play clock. Play clock will start and run for however long it needs to, hopefully, and then and we basically reset it every time. We're going to set the time in quarter. Display time is just a check. It's either 40 or display time. So really what this should be is not checking this for decimals, because I do want the exact time for the check, but I will cut the decimals off for the calculation purposes, because we're only doing seconds, so we're not gonna worry about that too much. What it should be is anything less than 40. Less than 40, we're going to go ahead and set it to, it's going to be weird because I think we'll actually run negatives, because we could get down to less than 40, but it does a speed run through that time, and we could actually hit 0, and we keep subtracting time. No, because it stops at 0. It should stop at 0, because it's going to stop at 0. It runs out of time. So I guess that's not going to run. We can't get negatives. All right, so I should probably round this time is what I should do. Math dot round display time. That's what I want. I think when I don't put any parameters, I'm pretty sure that means it's just going to do the nearest integer. And then you have to put how many decimal points you want to get more. So nearest integer should be up or down. So if it's less than 39.5 or whatever, we're going to cut off that 0.5. It's not great, but that's how I'm going to do it. So, because I don't want it doing decimals. That's just going to be weird. And of course, the other option is let it do decimals, but only display a rounded time. And that way I get the exact time. You know, actually that might be better. That might be better. For the play clock, I'm going to round time. And that means I have to go over to the play clock. Honestly, now that I think about it, I should probably round time on the game clock too and just not mess with that. Because this way I'm dealing with exact times and it's only rounding. Let's just, yeah, let's do that. Time in quarter. And then we'll go back over here and we have format time left. So this one is being pretty smart, but we want to have, let's do this. Since we only show seconds on here, you know, even better, I'm just going to go math.round, and we're going to go to seconds. And then we're going to go back over to my game clock and do the same thing. There we go. So we don't have any decimal seconds. That's definitely what I don't want. We don't need any decimal seconds. Na 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 na. I don't know. I don't know if that means it's broken or if I just wasn't compiled for all the changes I made, but we're going to find out. Oh, no, go away. I gotta get rid of this puny code thing. I don't like seeing this stuff. Their deprecation warning. Puny code module is deprecated. Please use a userland alternative instead. I just like clean starts. And if there's something weird that I'm not using or whatever it is, I mean, I could just assume get rid of puny code. It's deprecated, right? Doesn't work. All right, so it's 3:46. Dang it, I got to get to my go. I got to get going. Got to get going and going. Go forth and prosper, I say. Or forth to go and prosper? I don't know. Okay, so we are not good. Nicht good. Alright, so time and quarter is 900. So is the problem... Okay, so we're still not set. Post playtime. What happened? Oop. Initial time. We definitely have time. Should have triggered it. Got rid of that. Time left, pause. That's fine. That's my pause method. That's 0. Why are we not triggering? Initial time. All right, let's see. Well, let's put a pause here on the off chance that that's the cause. I don't think it is. It doesn't look wrong. But maybe. I know the other one's working, so that should not be an issue. I'm not really calling pause clock or resume clock, so it's post playtime initial clock, initial time. And we have, all right, so what? Oh, what am I doing? Doop, never mind. I am missing a key element here. I'm not actually setting this to anything. That's not going to do anything. I mean, it doesn't guarantee that it's everything else is right, but it does matter that I'm doing this. Let's try that again. But now at least I won't have any decimals. It still doesn't guarantee that everything works because I don't know. I have a feeling it's just not initializing. Oh yeah, so we are still getting a bad call. But it is coming in as non. So we can't our problem is our data is empty. So yeah, let's go back to my game result here. And we have to go, when are we initializing? We're initializing before we even get to this. This isn't even firing yet. So I think I do need to put in, I believe this is 900 when it starts, because what is it? 15 times 60, or 10 times 60 is 600, so another 300, so it's 900. So I think I need to set a default. I think that's my problem. This needs to be equal to 900. I need a starting point. Much in the same way that this should be set to... See, this one starts off at 30, though. I don't understand why that one doesn't have a problem, but this one's having trouble. That's kind of disconcerting. How come this one's... Because if it was doing it right, this wouldn't be 30. It says 40, so it's obviously doing it right. Because somewhere, somehow, some way, the play clock is getting set to the right value. I don't have this being called somewhere else, do I? Oh, it has an initial time. Do I not have an initial time set on mine? Game state quarter time. Game state quarter time? Oh, because quarter time... Yeah, shoot. This game state quarter time, that's the problem. Okay, so... I'm gonna have to do this. Math dot floor game state quarter time. All right, we're gonna do this because I need to put this in a more readable location. Clock. And this. So clock. Game state quarter time dot minutes divided by 60 plus game state dot quarter time dot seconds, which is going to be 0. But that should and so if we have minutes and seconds, our seconds should always be correct. They always should be in minutes and seconds. Okay, so we should be fine. All right. So now I should have a more correct starting time, because I have to break up my minutes and seconds for this to be a valid, is it supposed to be capital S? Probably. Let's try that again. That's just because I took out the minute definitions. Okie dokie. Well, that didn't work. Why not? Why is it coming? Why is it? All right, well, let's see. We got the game clock here. We'll pause it. See what the heck are we passing, and why is it not working? don't think it has anything to do with this, but just for my own sanity, I like to close that down. So once I get the game clocks all synced up, or at least running, they won't be 100% synced, but it'll be so. It shouldn't be overly obvious that they're not 100% synced. We should be talking about fractions of a second. That it'd be hard to tell. Maybe if they were running at normal speed, one might click slightly faster. I don't know. But they're even in the NFL, they're not perfectly synced, right? Because one's the clock and one's the play clock, which runs. The play clock starts when they tell it to start. The game clock is running constantly unless they stop it. So at certain points, it's running in a different hundredth of a second or fraction of a second based on the stoppage. So the NFL doesn't deal in hundredths of a second anyway. There is no hundredths of a second in the NFL, which is interesting because a lot of sports do have. Basketball, man, there's like a whole quarter's worth of time in a second. They like get down there and it's and you got these little fractions of a second running off. And you're like, wait, when did I start? Oh, it's me trying to check to see what my initial time is. Okay. All right, so initial time came in as, it did not come in as 900. Why? Where is my time in quota at? It says I'm about here. How is my time in quarter? Time in quarter is set. It's set right here. How is it 0? Because we have I don't think I can break right here. Won't stop me from trying, but I don't think we can. Nope, I don't think so. I get it. I'm not allowed to do that. Sheesh, what the heck, man? It's like, don't be trying to click where you're not allowed. Go up here. Oh, the entire line gets broken. We're about to run the returns. All right. So game clock. This should be getting. This should be getting game state.quarter time because it defaults. It defaults to. I wonder. I don't. Does game state ref have a setting at the start? I don't think so. Actually, it might. Oh, game state ref. Let's try game state ref. I don't know. Maybe it's not. It is game state. I put that on, right? Quarter time, yeah. Let's try game state ref. For whatever reason, that does not want to come forward. Control V dot current. V dot current. All right. Do I have anything running? Close that and fire off. There's got to be an initial state, right? It's got to have something. How are we getting a 0? Or maybe, wait, maybe we haven't actually gotten in here. Let's. Nope, it's a 0. Why is it a 0? These are not mine. That's not mine. Is any of this stuff mine? Callback, schedule, post, perform en route, concurrent fiber work on the forward ref. Maybe that one? Nope. Render with hooks, object. Huh. I don't know where it's rendering from. Who's calling it? And why are they calling it with a 0? Because minutes and seconds have values, and that's the initial time. Did I set it down here by chance? Game state. Yeah, this has got like the initial play clock time. This one works. They're both pulling from the same thing. How is that not? If that one can pull it, then this guy can pull it. Why is that not working? Game, huh. This one's just running from game state. I don't even have to, shouldn't have to do any of that. Because if initial play clock is set, then so should quarter time. Quarter time has its definition default, also 15 and 0 seconds. Initial play clock time is 40, so we got 15 and 0, and we're breaking it down. So unless, yeah, I'm using game state, so game state, unless game state is somehow unsetting it. There's only two places where play call, oddly enough, I'm not even really calling it. I'm not even calling the game clock. Game clock just calls when it initializes, and then after that, we're firing it up with other values. So why? Man, I have to go ask my buddy again. I wanted to solve. I feel like, why do I need his help? But no. So we're even having an initial time. So even though that doesn't matter because we're passing in a time, why is it not coming in with a time? There's only one place where this gets initialized. Initial time. And it's exactly the same as play clock. Play clock, initial time 30 ref. Yeah, it's all the same. Whoa. For one, this isn't even called play clock. This is called game clock too. What the heck? I don't think that's the problem, but we certainly have a problem with... Oh, wow, we definitely have a problem going on here. I thought I changed all that. Display name. Huh. I don't know what's going on here. And the other question is, how was I able to get this to run at all with that all broken? Was it running at all? I'm sorry, I'm having all my... What exactly was I showing there? I was running the play clock somehow? I don't know what I was doing. Still didn't work. But we are coming in here regardless. So even when it was running the wrong name, it was still going here somehow. So we're still getting to the right file. I think it's because my reference calls it game clock and calls it, and then I have the import for this file with game clock. So it just called this. It didn't even care what the name of the function is. But we're still getting a 0. I don't know why. Why is our initial time? All right, I got to go ask my buddy. Because that should not be 0. I'm obviously not passing it back correctly. Obviously. In this code, game clock is passing a 0 with values initialized in the game state. But that value is initialized with a non-zero value. Play clock, on the other hand, is functioning correctly, and it too is getting its initial value from the game state. All right, what do you see wrong with my code, buddy? Well, I gave you the code. What do you... Make sure game clock has a non-zero value when component mounts. If it's dynamic set, verify the logic. Did you review? I did give it the code, right? Oh my gosh, I did not give it the code. Ugh. Here I was going to call it a dummy for not reviewing my code. I was trying to fix stuff without knowing what's going on. It says, where's the part where it says, what code? Let's try it again. I should have noticed from the fact that it was way too short of a message. Sheesh. It's going to be a long method. Initial time handling game clock. If game clock maintains its own internal state for the time and does not correctly use the initial time prop, game clock prop is game clock. Here, math.floor will always be 0. Aha! Why? Since the minutes is in minutes, not seconds. This will result in initial time always being seconds, i.e. GameState.QuarterTime.seconds. Instead, compute the initial time in total seconds. Huh? I am doing the total time in seconds. Will always be 0 since the minutes oh gosh, Ken, it's not divide. It's times. It's multiplication. Oh, Ken, slap yourself. Wake up. What do you think you're doing? That's not, come on, man. It's only when I'm breaking it the other way that I want to divide, when I'm going from seconds to minutes. Oh, God, see? That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. Sometimes you just need a second pair of eyes to call out your blunders. Oh yeah, well, you know, if you If you knew how math worked, you wouldn't be having this problem. But I do. At least I thought I did. Let's take these out. I bet you that's got a value in it now. Yeah, that costs a value now. Hey, we've got time. All right, let's see what happens. Once it starts, it takes a second to actually warm up. Well, it actually takes even longer when I put a breakpoint in there. Okay, what's it gonna do now? Still thinking about it at some point. Hey, well. Our clocks aren't running. Neither one of them's running. Hello? Hello, hello? Why aren't we running? Why aren't our clocks starting? Because I do definitely have clock starting stuff here. What is going on? I mean, both clocks. I mean, even the other one, which I didn't really do anything to, is not running. And they should have started the second they... were set. I don't know, maybe I had a weird pause going. Let's run that again. Maybe I just had a weird thing going. Something did not trigger when my clock starts, so. So I don't even have a pause in play clock, so it ain't play clock's fault that it's not running. But something has stopped my clocks from running. Doggone it. Now I got them all set. They're in there. And now... Oh, wait. There we go. But why do they start running sometimes and at other times they stop running? Okay, something's weird for sure. That was weird because it ran once, but that's it. Ran one time, and now we're not running at all. Okay, so why is it not running? Clock is ticking down because we are setting the quarter time. We're init play clock time, but init play clock, it might... So we come back around, so we should... maybe because I'm not using the init play clock time. Because it, see, it goes down. Look, see, every now and then it does tick, and then it doesn't tick. See, there it's ticking. Well, at least the bottom one's ticking on occasion, but then it stops. So we have init play clock right here, init play clock time. So whatever that clock time is, it's supposed to be going here. But yeah, we're not. And it's like there's nothing here to stop it from running. Dang it. Okay. Why are my clocks not running. Not, how about this? Not counting down. Both play clock and game clock are setting correctly, but they are not ticking down anymore. Are not ticking down as they should after every play. The play clock does seem to tick down on occasion, but I don't know why. All right. It's kind of like AI is almost like a better debug tool, because it's like debugging things will you often tell you, where a bug is, but it won't decipher your code. AI can decipher your code a little bit and go, oh, well, this is because this is not setting, or that's not running, or whatever. The issue of the play clock and game clock not counting down consistently could be related to how state updates and synchronizations are handled, particularly with useref and how these clocks are being controlled. Implementation. Ensure that your game clock and play clock components are implemented correctly with proper ticking logic. Yeah, they are. Confirm they rely on user. Yeah. I know they work. I mean, I already know that. I just need to get them to execute. You are using refs, game clock ref, to control the clocks. Ensure these components expose the necessary methods. They are doing that. Example for play clock. Oh man, just tell me what my call problems are. You're relying on useref for synchronization, but also updating state for the game state and current play. There might be conflicts or delayed updates between refs and state. Solution: reduce reliance on useref for values that are updated frequently. Instead, use controlled state updates and propagate changes properly. Double clock updates. You're calling post playtime, pause clock, and resume clock multiple times within the game loop. Ensure there are no race conditions causing clocks to pause unexpectedly. Well, for one, there's only a pause on the game clock. That would not affect the play clock. So we already know that's not a thing. Check the conditions for each clock control and add debug logs to see where the logic is breaking. That's helpful. I will add some logs in there. Race conditions in game loop. The min time between plays and lock time logic might be causing a delay in the clock updates. Ensure this synchronization mechanism does not inadvertently block. So when I had this running, I was setting it before the lock check. Okay, so I had it blocking at the lock check, because you could. All right, I don't need this. This is not my problem anymore. Go away. I gotta compress some stuff. Makes it easier to navigate. Okay, so I can probably get rid of these. I don't need these right now. Time to simplify my stuff here a little bit. We'll put logs back in if something comes up that I need it. I already know there's problems with some of my POC play running, but I'm not going to worry about it, because all that's going to get replaced and run, and then I'll have to run some tests on it later. I'll put some automated unit tests to check for flaws. That said, the things that are going on is this score setting, and then we set the quarter setting. Check for quarters, game end, and check for quarter and game end. That's good enough. And then what else are we doing down here? Check for change of possession. Okay, so now I'm just doing different things for points scored, and then set team getting the points scored play. All right, so we have that and reset play clock. So now we got to manage the clock. All right, so this is my nomenclature, and I had people who told me it was bad. I'm going to show you what I used to do, and I haven't done it in a while because manage clocks. Because I always used to put something like this in my code. And what this would do is it allowed me to actually see where a particular feature functionality ended and started. End clock management. And people didn't like it because it was extra code. But it's like, to me, it's like it calls it out. And sometimes I need to look at it and go, okay, this is the area that I'm working in. Now, I know something's wrong, so maybe this is not a good way or a good place to manage the clock. Okay, but I do know that I want to start the clock pretty much as soon as they kick the ball off. So the problem here is, though, we do have time and quarter. And I want it to be set to this time and quarter, which is this guy, right? Time and quarter is kind of like my tracker. But I still don't think that that's going to change. The problem is I have this little delay up here. This is a while delay, and this is where I was setting the time. And it worked. I mean, the clocks ran. But I was having trouble with, like, what am I setting it to kind of problems. So I needed to figure out, okay, well, I need to get this to set correctly. Now, setting it right before we kick the ball is just as good as setting it right after, so that doesn't necessarily break the clock, break things. But and then the play clock being set after, probably not a problem either. But I don't think whether or not I set it here or set it here is going to matter. The problem is I might need to set it here before the timeout, like I was doing before, because that's where it was working. So I don't know why or what is causing the breakdown here. And I wasn't using my time and quarter, and that could be another issue. I was using the game state times like this is doing. I wouldn't think it matters because you're calling it and you're just passing it in a value, so it really shouldn't matter. So the question is time and quarter. All right, well, you know what? Let's just run this a couple of times. We know it isn't updating. Time and quarter, 6:51. That's probably about right. All right, so then we go F11. Huh, that was weird. Here, let's stop this. I feel like something isn't compiled right because I went to an extra line and I should not have gone to an extra line. It's often a good clue that something's a little out of whack. when your marker goes down to a line with no code on it, it's a good sign that it's not got your right data compiled into it. All right, so we should have a break here coming up. All right, time and quarter. Okay, so time and quarter did not tick. Whatever I set it to did not fire it. And we're still at 900, which we should not be. We should be like some amount of seconds should have ticked off. I think my kickoff still burned like 3 seconds. Oh, let's see. Kick falls short of the landing zone, which will give the opponent the ball in the 40. Ah, maybe there was no play time in there. Play time. Well, I did run 4.8 seconds according to this. Oh, no, wait. That's the first play. That's the next play I just captured. But still, even then, it's not showing. Man, that's probably true. Okay, why did my play clock not start then? Something did not fire the clock. Because this is the second time this comes in. The first time is when you initialize it. It should immediately fire. So if I hit stop here and then run it again, we have if I go to my game clock here, and then we go here, I should have a start to this clock before I even hit this line. Should go right straight to here. Yep, see, there it went. It hit there before there, which is normal, and that should be 900 seconds. So it is. But the question is, why is it not triggering any time? Am I doing something? Oh, I did it again. If we're dealing with seconds and we're trying to convert them to minutes, oh, it is seconds to 60. Okay, it's not minutes to seconds. Okay, so I need to go here. Now there should be valid time here, but let's find out. I thought I thought I was looking at something else. Because I made that mistake earlier where I was dividing my minutes by 60, not my seconds by 60. And I was like, okay, oh, I did it again. But nope, math can. The slash is a division and the star is a multiplier. Keep up. Interesting. Oh, wait a minute. Where am I? Hello? Hello? Are we still running? Why did it go? That's weird. Okay, never mind. Now we'll go here, hit F5, and we should have, real minutes. 15 minutes, 15 seconds. We're gonna return whatever this is. Oh, wait, what? 0 seconds, 15 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna have 15:0. That's fine. But our clock ain't starting. So it's like when I click this, it's still at 900. I should have run off however long that play was. But a kickoff, it's really kind of weird. Yikes. Now I time card. So now we should have run. What play just ran? Play is the kickoff. Okay. So we have a kickoff. And the play info, yards to go, play calls, kickoff, yards to first down, 10. What was the description of this play? Alright, so I'm going to have to go look. Because I want to see if we have, well actually I could probably just look to see if we have a clock stopped. Clock stopped true. Now it's always going to be clock stopped true, but we should have still burned unless there was no return. So I got to kind of look to see if there was a return. Just so I know. Blasted through the end zone. Okay, so there was no return. So we should be 0. That's fine. And come back around. Now we're back. This time we have play info. All right, why did I get 2 kickoffs? I should not have 2 kickoffs. Why do I have 2 kickoffs? Play info repeated itself. Current play, blah, blah, blah. Game state overview. 065, game loop false. Is locked false. So the game state updates, when we get here, it says when it gets here from the game state, we get hold on, looking at something here. Oh, never mind. Huh. So maybe the second time. The first time is just the load time. It doesn't matter. It's like it just does a thing the first time. Yeah, it's dumb. And then the next time is actually the true runtime. But we came in here twice. And it came in the first time, it was false because that was the dummy time. And then the second time it was false because it was the actual time. We should not get another kickoff because the third time will be actual play. We gotta close that door. It is so loud. My wife started recently using these balls that you put in the dryer. I don't know, it helps get the static out of them. I don't know what it does, but it makes the dryer so loud. Just thump, 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 thump. So when she's washing clothes, things get really noisy. So I almost need to, I don't know, put up a sound barrier so it doesn't go. We gotta, because things can get pretty rackety there. All right, so let's try that again. Let's see if I'm right. The third time should be an actual play. We got initial time. It's still 900. And we, of course, still have 15. Now now I don't know what we're coming in here with. That's weird. Why did it come in here twice? Alright, now we're running a play. Now we're officially in the game. Things are now officially ticking. We should have a value, but we do not. Wait, what is play info showing right now? Playtime, 38.7 seconds. We actually do have a value here, but we're not ticking it off. Why? You know what I think is going on here? We have clock stopped, false. So what this shouldn't, okay, that shouldn't do anything now that I think about it. But we should click in here and we should have resume clock that fires. And let's see if resume clock actually does anything. You know what it could be? I could be resetting it back to 15 every time. If this is always, no, because time and quarter gets reset here. Alright, well, let's see what happens. I should, if everything is proper, be going right here. I did. Okay, so now we're going to resume clock. Now, resume clock shouldn't do anything to the clock because it's not going to. Oh, okay. Well, you know, when we set it at 15, I should start timing out right there. I should start clicking right away. So the question is, why isn't the clock ticking the second we set it to 15? When we start the initialization process, it should start ticking down immediately. So that might be the bigger question. Because we are effectively setting it. And it should start ticking down the second we put it in there. Of course, we do set clock stop state to false, which still shouldn't stop it from ticking. Much less it shouldn't stop the play clock from ticking. The game clock is one thing, but a play clock doesn't care. Why? Something about in fact, I noticed before I can reset this always to this and it just keeps starting over. So the reset should work. So this is all stuff that was working fine, but we're not ticking for whatever reason. You know, the other interesting fact is when I'm ticking down, if I were to stop, wouldn't that keep ticking? I mean, I guess pausing it stops everything, but still, it seems like that's an automated async thing. It almost should keep going. So why time and quarter? And that clock does go down, but it's only going down the jump time. In other words, every time we come around, but the clock is not ticking down at all. So my question is, why is it not ticking down at all? Now before I was using I'm wondering if it's my using these, using the values built into this method, because I'm using values like, what is it, time in quarter and init play clock time, because I'm setting up the clock to start ticking down based on those. But why would, I mean, once we initialize, the clock should start ticking. And I am setting those times. I am seeing that getting called. And yet the clock doesn't tick down consistently. So something is really going on weird here. Oops, you know what? I need to get rid of this. This was here before I did this. This can go away. I don't know what that is, but that goes away. Hopefully. Oh. Yeah. Sheesh. Well, we got 1/10 of a bajillionth of a second here. Now we're still not ticking down. The time is setting. Whoa. Why did it restart? Alright, I'm taking these out for a minute. I just got to see if my taking this out made any difference. Because I could have been, you know, resetting myself, causing myself my own consternation. Oh, look at this. It's ticking down now. Well, it did tick down for a minute. Is that a consistency? Am I getting that every time I start a game? Not exactly. Oh, okay, so that's fine. Short gain of 5. Handoff for 12. Quick pass for 5. Things are working. Run. 4th and 3. We're gonna punt or kick a field goal. Is good. Clock's the end zone. Opponent will take the ball on the 35. Well, now we're running. Well, let's find out, because something breaks it. Gain of 4. -3. Punt for 44. Oh wait, no, that's fine. Because there are things that stop the clock, which is fine, but I'm just trying to see where, like, we haven't ended a quarter, that's a thing. Punt returner takes it, clock stops, that's fine, change of possession, handoff for short game, but we're ticking again. Oh wait, clock stop, wait, oh, handoff for short gain. Some clocks, was sacked, that's fine, it's still ticking down. Punt returner takes the ball, we have a clock. Should have probably stopped the clock on that one. Handoff for short gain. See, but handoff is stopping the clock. That shouldn't happen. Incomplete stops the clock, which is fine. Handoff for short gain. So we have some things that are stopping the clock that probably shouldn't be. Incomplete, couldn't quite hold. See, incomplete should have stopped the clock. Screen pass, running back. It's working for some reason now. I'm trying to figure out, because earlier it was stopping. I mean, it would still stop. 34 yards is good. So far we're not getting too much, but we haven't flipped quarters yet. And the screen loss is 0, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Oh, we are on to the next quarter. Now we're on to second quarter. But now our time got weird. 0-7. I don't know what that was, but we got a little bit of a quirk in there. I don't know why, but it's suddenly working. I'm going to be very apprehensive about this. I don't know what triggered it to start working. I mean, obviously taking out that broken code mattered. There are still some quirks going on, I think, that I'm not fully sure of why they're pausing. Like there could be some issues with when it stops versus when the play shows it stopped. I think like we do have incomplete passes that are stopping the clock, but they stop at like the next play, which is kind of off. But I do appear to be having a proper clock run off now. I'm not seeing anything wrong. Let's see how it swaps from second to fourth, or second to third quarter. Quick pass. See it? See, certain things are keeping the clock. Other times it looks like it stops when it shouldn't. But I think that could just be a timing. It's like it's telling you the right play to stop, but for some reason it's not. Now, this is my understanding of an NFL play clock, is it ticks even when the clock stops. So it just means you still only have 40 seconds to get your play going. The clock itself, the game clock, just doesn't tick. So that's my understanding. It doesn't really buy you time, it just buys the game time. If you want your own time, you have to call timeout. Well, Denver's winning with a lot of field goals. I'm just waiting for this quarter to end, and then I'll move on. If this keeps running, I mean, I don't see whatever it was killing it before. Oh wait, oh no, we're good. But we're still starting off with that weird. Look, my time fixes itself, but something goes wonky on the quarter changeover. I'm getting weird, like post-quarter displays. I don't know. But at least we're not getting decimals anymore. Everything's sitting where it's supposed to. All are good things. Everything is mostly doing what it's supposed to do. So, yay to that. Hey, Log, how you doing? Can I post a link to a 2-minute video? Sure, it'll warn you, A-Log, but you'll be fine as long as you're not doing much. But really, if you want me to see a video and you want it to stay consistent or stay available to me, put it on my Discord. I have a Discord link underneath my videos. So if you put it there, well, actually, you're fine. Never mind, because this goes to Discord. I forgot. I'm actually sharing my chats into Discord. So if I want to refer to a chat that's a link someone sent me, it'll go. So you got a warning from Nightbot, but it's fine. You maintain a site? KRQE video solar and battery storage project opens. So so you work for this? That's right, because you were telling me you worked for a solar panels company. We were talking about how those run. And I didn't know you worked for. I didn't know you did their website. I know you said something about working for them, but I didn't know you actually did their website. KRQE, local reporting you can trust. Solar energy project. Oh. Okay. So this is a news clip about the site you maintain. Oh, check that out. It's huge, man. That's gigantic. I mean, I know you said it was large. I didn't realize it was this big. A 100%. I didn't see the things. Let's see if I can hear what they're saying.
Or more than halfway there, at over 60% carbon free with our energy resources.
The Atrisco Solar and Energy Storage Project near Double Eagle Airport has been years in the making. The facility will not only generate clean energy, but can also store power.
But on those days where it's cloudy, we have the storage capacity to continue to deliver.
Dude, that's a huge solar panel. I mean, that's a lot of solar panels, man.
Operated by a company called Clenera, the site is now online, providing clean energy to P&M customers. The $850 million project sits on 2,300 acres with more than 650,000 panels, generating over 300 megawatts of solar energy only for New Mexico P&M customers. The utility says they hope to be carbon-free by 2040.
That's cool, man.
The project will also generate an estimated $1 million in tax revenue each year, including money that will go to Rio Rancho public schools.
Over the lifetime of this project, $9 million will go to the local communities, the schools.
So I would imagine the cost of running it post setup, like maintenance and keeping things working, is a lot lower than that of like a dam. Which is kind of the classic, right? I mean, that's where a lot of power comes from for most people. So in the long term, do costs go down? I mean, in the early years, you can't go down. You can't charge more, or charge less, because you got to pay off this multi-million-dollar site. But eventually, it's just maintenance, right? Maybe. That's what I would think, because you're getting, like I said, you're getting a lot of tax stuff and whatever, and it just seems like the cost of supporting something like that would be less than that of 800 million. So it's going to take a long time, but you're also getting paid by all the people using the power. But the power itself and the generation of the power, I mean, I would just think it's cheaper than that of, and less maintenance than a dam. That's what I mean, just perception-wise. I mean, you don't have water, which wears things out just in its existence, you know, plowing through and causing, you know, havoc. And you have to maintain much heavier duty equipment. Well, now this stuff is probably heavy duty in its durability, but I mean, it's not like the sun doesn't beat the snot out of your stuff constantly. It's like, as long as your stuff is, you know, got its protective coatings and stuff to not get beat up by the sun, there's no reason why it would wear out as quickly as like a dam would if you didn't spend gajillions of dollars maintaining it. I don't know. I just feel it's really cool though. I mean, I don't know. It just seems like it would be cheaper to maintain in the long term. But that's cool, man. So you have, I imagine you have quite a few people maintaining that. I know you're one of them, but that's a huge site. I mean, obviously it's not a 1 or 2 person maintenance project. I mean, I'd imagine it's not a huge number of people, but it's got to be enough people that you can kind of cover the whole site, you know, do what you got to do each day. Yeah, I could imagine wind power being more efficient. But I'm talking about like maintenance costs. I mean, you have to have $800 million worth of solar panels, and you take up how many sites? But the wind farms are huge too. I mean, wind farms are gigantic, and I would imagine something like this has to be done in a sunny location to be consistently powerful. Like, I know you can deal with, like I said, they have the storage capacity to deal with cloudy days and low energy generation days. Wow, just 5. You can see, that's cheap. That's cheap maintenance. I mean, five people on site, well, plus, you know, remote operations control center. So it's 5 on site plus the operations center. But that's a pretty low cost of maintenance. I bet you hydroelectric is more costly than that. I bet you they don't run those things off of 5 people. And just the cost of, and it's not just that, the cost of the equipment itself on a per piece. I mean, I guess hydro doesn't need, it's probably more expensive parts, but you got less of them. You don't have, you know, however 2,300 acres of parts. So wow. Well, you know, electric vehicles are losing a lot of backers these days because they're finding that they're not as great for the environment as they originally thought. Because for one, their batteries have, you know, an expiration time. So you got the cost of disposal and the cost of creation are so high that unless they can figure out how to fix that, they're actually doing more damage than the cars that are running on fossil fuels. so you know, electric cars need to get better or figure out a better way to deal with their battery problem, or they're actually losing sales. They're actually getting worse over the last couple of years because people are going, huh? Why am I doing this then? Why am I running in this car that has no power? Well, some of them do now, right? Some of the expensive ones, really expensive because electric cars aren't cheap. But the higher end versions of them are not very good these days. So you know, it's like, was it California had a thing that we're going to try to make all cars electric by 2035, but now they're kind of going, maybe not. Only, I think that estimate has gone down or extended unless they figure out a way to deal with these battery problems, because you're not saving the whole point of electric was to be more environmentally friendly. I mean, we have to do something though, right? It may be an issue that we may not have a choice, because if we don't get the heck off of fossil fuels, there is a finite amount, and they're even saying, 50 years from now, we may have a serious problem if we're not off fossil fuels. We may not even be able to generate the energy from fossil fuels that we do now. I mean, for cars and that stuff. So even if electric transportation is not better for the environment in the long term, it may be our only choice, because we do need to get the heck off of fossil fuels. Well, that too. But that's gonna, if we really do start switching that far over to electrical, we will get to, I mean, they'll get that done. Just like with cars, right? I mean, there wasn't always enough gas stations. They kind of grew up with the amount of cars and they did pretty well, but ultimately they'll get to this. They'll figure it out. A lot of gas stations will probably eventually start upgrading, adding electrical. It'll become more standard. The problem is too, charge times suck. Some of the cars like Tesla, I guess, have a pretty decent charge up time, but cross country travel's a pain in the rear with a lot of electric cars, right? Because you got to stop. You can't push through, a 2,000 mile drive if you got to stop for, an hour. It's almost better. They're going to have to start having hotels are going to have start having cots, or not hotels, but restaurants, pit stop restaurants, like what do they call it? Little America. Those places are going to have like little cots that you can rent and go take a couple hour nap while your car charges. So just so that you don't have to go stop at a hotel for 2 hours. It's like,